Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 33. Tonight we watch The Great Food Truck Race, Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2. This is James, and not to be confused with the Chris Lorenz, our usual host. Sitting to my right is
Robert Kitts.
And over on my left,
Harrison Hoffman.
All right. Well, we're in it, guys. We did it. We made it through a couple episodes of this show. Harrison, do you have a description for us?
I don't really have a proper description since we watched an episode that was a few seasons old, but I can read the partial description from Hulu. Get ready for strategy, stress, and lots of sleepless nights. In the end, it all comes down to 2 trucks and 1 sun-splashed showdown in Miami Beach. And this time, there's $100,000 on the line. As I'm reading this, it doesn't seem like it's the right description.
I don't think that's the right season, but I think we get the idea.
We watched season 5, right?
We did watch season 5.
Yeah, that's what it has for season 5.
Was it like the challenge where they sprung a surprise different prize on them partway through?
There could be. Maybe there were prizes for second and third. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway,
it definitely sounded like the prize was you win your own food truck and $50,000.
That is what I heard quite a number of times.
That is what Tyler Florence, the host, said on the show.
Do you think that the truck is worth $50,000 itself? It's got to be worth so much more than that, right?
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
All the equipment alone on that thing, like one of the trucks has a deep fryer on it. Like there's a bunch of shit going on.
Since the description wasn't very descriptive, let me quickly explain what this show is.
Let's tee it up.
Basically, there's a bunch of kind of like aspiring food truck people that don't have their own trucks already. They want to get in the business, and they've applied to be on the show. And they basically show up, and they had already kind of talked with the Food Network people about what their truck concept is, and they have a totally decked out, customized food truck for all these people. And the competition is basically like this food truck race across the country, city to city, and then they just compete to sell food in all these cities. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's kind of important to call out that they do this weekend to weekend. So the competition each week is over a couple of days. And yeah, each weekend they go to a different city. Our host Tyler will introduce a bunch of speed bumps and truck stops and various challenges along the way. And at the end of it, and each week one's eliminated. That's pretty much the gist.
There you go.
And they're basically eliminated based on how much money they make. So
yes.
They're given the same kind of starting point with the truck with the basics and some money, and it's just like, how much money can you make from this?
Yeah,
and if you make the least, you go home.
That's actually one of the things that I like a lot about this show is that it really is, like, aside from some of the speed bumps and things that they have to do, it really is just like here's a food truck, make as much money as you can using whatever tactics you want, basically.
Totally.
And then whoever makes the most money wins. Like, it's kind of cool.
Right. Like, I feel like similar to some of the shows, like Cleveland Hustle comes to mind for some reason, but like there's other shows that we've watched too that are similar where it's like, oh, we have this concept and we're going to do some research and come up with some ideas and test it out. It's like, no, here's the truck, go and do it. You just straight in execution mode.
Yeah, it's like on the first day they hand them like $150 and the keys to the food truck, and it's just like, good luck.
Right.
Go to the grocery store.
Yeah, and they're just going like to like Costco or whatever,
it's
like the local
Costco.
markets are.
Yeah.
So I'd seen some other seasons too of this, and like it's not always Costco.
Oh, it's not?
It definitely, like, they end up in some towns sometimes, and it's hard to find certain stores, certain things. Like sometimes, like I recall one episode where they couldn't like there was this one truck that was like a cheesesteak truck, and they just couldn't find hoagie rolls. So like it was just a huge disaster.
Wow.
That was not this season, to be clear, but like that's just to give you a taste of what can happen on this wild ride of a great food truck race.
I'm pretty sure they can take their money and go spend it on food from wherever they want. It's just that a lot of them go to Costco or something like that just because it's cheap. Like
it's cheap to get a lot of food. And you need a decent amount if you're going to like run a food truck for a day.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right. It's basically like a restaurant supply store. So
I had never seen the Great Food Truck Race before. But you guys both have seen some. How much have you each seen?
I've probably seen like a couple of seasons of it, like on and off over the years.
And Harrison turned me onto this one night randomly, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then I watched the whole like season of season 4.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And so like the format changes like a little bit season to season. So I've seen another season where the people were not brand new to food trucks, and there were already established food trucks that were coming in and competing, which is really interesting because like those people really have their shit down. Like they know how to run the truck, they know how to market stuff, and they know the right places to park. Like it's interesting watching people who are more expert at it.
Mm-hmm.
So was the prize to win a new food truck for them, or
No, it was just a bunch
It was
of
just
cash. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so they rolled up with their own
Yeah,
trucks.
it's bring your own food truck,
Oh man.
drive it across the country and compete in this thing.
That's interesting.
BYOFT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the things with this particular season and the other one that I saw was that there's sort of a level playing field. Aside from like your cooking background, like your cooking background's what varies, but like the trucks are like, here's your truck, here's like a whole bunch of equipment, knives, all that kind of stuff, all standard, like great stuff. And then it's just pure like, here's like a couple $100, go make something happen.
For sure. There were like
Yeah.
so I watched whatever the newest season is on Hulu, and there's one of the trucks in there that's like a waffle truck. So they don't have a lot of like the normal cooking apparatuses in their
Right.
truck. So sometimes when they're forced to do one of these challenges, they're just like forced to cook like a hot dog on a waffle iron or something dumb like that because like their truck is just super optimized around selling waffles.
That's pretty great actually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And yeah, we'll probably unpack this a little bit once we get into some of the specific episode. But like, I feel like that's kind of what I love seeing. Sometimes like how people can get creative with a dish or a challenge that they have to make something that like they're not normally trying to make. It's kind of interesting. The problem I have with it at the same time is that the competition isn't always about how good the food is. It's just essentially how much can you sell. So like the food could be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
but they're selling a lot of it.
Hey, that's the business of food trucks.
For sure.
And it is even less important that the food is good when you are leaving town after that
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Like it is
And that's an interesting point too, right? Which is like, I wonder how much of the sales of this is just because the novelty of it. That like word gets around is like, hey, the Food Network's in town. These 8 trucks are just rolling in. We got to go check this thing out, see what's up, maybe get on TV.
that definitely drives. I mean, I'm sure that drives people to the trucks, and like I'm sure that some of these towns that they like. So sometimes they go to big towns. Sometimes they go to these little towns,
Right.
And there's really not a lot of people
Oh, yeah.
there, and maybe they haven't even had a food truck in their town before. So
Oh,
like
for
when
sure.
like all these 10 food trucks roll, it's just crazy. You know.
Mhm.
This one seemed to be like the first episode we watched. They were in L.A.
Yeah, they were in-
different parts of L.A.
Yeah.
And then the second one they were in Tucson, just
Yeah.
like as big as L.A., but it's not some small city.
No, totally.
Should we kind of dip into the first episode, which I believe kicked us off in Venice?
Ven-
Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't Venice. It was Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. I think that's
Okay.
right.
One of those ones.
Yeah, I don't know. So there was
One of the Santas.
show intros us to 8 groups of people, all groups of 3. Does
We gotta
somebody
run
want to
through-
kind of tee us up through some of the
All right,
memorable
we'll
characters?
see if I can get through all 8.
Okay, I have an idea. I think we should go in a rotation and just
Oh.
name a truck and
It's the
explain
Tom
it.
Hanks game, but with food truck
It's the Tom
people.
Hanks movie game, but with food trucks.
Okay, let's do it. Rob, start us off.
All right, I'm going to kick us off with there's this group from Venice Beach, California, and they really go for like a beach surfer vibe. They're all about fish tacos and fried avocado. They like to chant that quite a bit. So
They
that's
really
one
do.
group.
I think they were the beach cruisers.
Beach cruisers,
Yeah.
that's right.
I was gonna name. I'm just gonna throw it out now, which is the bacon people. I don't know their truck name, but they're just
Oh,
bacon
man.
people.
Let there be
Let
bacon.
There be bacon. Great food truck. Is this the giant strip of bacon on it?
They're
Which
from
is
Cleveland, right?
at Cleveland, Ohio. These 3 kind of bigger dudes that just really love bacon. I think.
So an interesting thing about this group was that one of the guys had cancer and beat cancer.
He did.
But he says, I used to work in a kitchen, but now after my cancer, I can't. And then they just moved on.
That was
and
the
I
end of
have
that.
so many questions.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
what about cancer, beating cancer, which, all props to beating cancer. What about that makes you unable to work in a restaurant / what makes you now qualified to be in a food truck?
I mean, like I could certainly see being impaired in some way after having cancer. I don't know what all that does to the cells in your body. Definitely not good. So like, I could see that, but I don't understand how you'd be capable of working in a food truck, but
it's-
not a kitchen.
it's
Right.
I can see I can't work in a kitchen anymore. I'm more the Venn diagram of
No,
I can't
for
work in
sure.
a kitchen, but now I'm going to devote my life to my food truck.
Totally.
Like,
It just
that part I don't get. And I wish they'd dug into
I-
that a little bit more.
I think that it must be some kind of liability thing with the restaurant. Maybe he has something that happened which makes him not employable in a
So he has to
kitchen
do
run
his
by
own
somebody else who has
business.
to do his own thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea. No
Yeah.
idea. It's very confusing though.
I agree. There's a lot of questions with that, but I mean, like say, props to beating it, and like I don't know,
Yeah.
the truck's interesting. I love where every town they go to, they just keep referring to their fans as the Army of Bacon.
Yeah.
and it's great. They just keep doing these bacon chants. It's just
They're very
exciting.
good at leading chants.
Yeah.
Everyone's always chanting around their truck.
They might not be good at running a food truck, but they're good at leading chants.
Yes, for sure. Then we have the Middle Feast, who is a Middle Eastern food truck.
Kosher truck, which
Kosher
we can-
truck who's gone through some interesting times in these episodes. At some point, they were forced to cook a bacon hot dog as this kosher food truck, and they weren't too happy about it.
We'll
I'd
see.
say.
Yeah, so they're one of the more specific trucks for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think there's kind of an even mix of like more specific ones and more that are just
Generic,
general.
yeah.
Yeah, generic.
Yep.
Six, I'm going to go for the chatty chicken.
Oh, Chatty Chicken. Almost forgot about them.
Which is like a dad and with his son and daughter, and he's got this fried chicken recipe that they just say is just the greatest. And they've been trying to set up a restaurant. Where were they from again?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chatty.
So the restaurant in Tennessee hasn't been going so well, so now they're going to try to do the food truck life with their fried chicken recipe.
I'll be honest with you, that photo of the restaurant, air quotes here, didn't look great. Like it looked kind of like a dive barn or shed in the middle of nowhere.
Tyler did kind of throw it like they've made a bad investment.
Yeah. Doesn't
Like
seem-
it's not really panning out.
Yeah, didn't seem great.
So that's 4. Let me think. We had. Ooh, I'm drawing a blank already. I'm
Oh,
losing
man.
the Tom Hanks game here. It's not
Oh,
going great.
man.
Are you out? Are you out?
No. I'm gonna get it. It's I'm gonna go with the Mexican family.
Okay. Good one.
I forget what they were called. Does anyone recall that?
Madres.
Madres.
Madres,
Okay.
Mexican, yeah.
And so this is, I think, a mom and a son, and either her friend or sister or something.
I think is it his wife?
It could be his wife. Yeah.
I think it's mom,
It's-
son, wife.
mom, son, wife. A group. I'm not sure if they're Mexican American, originally from Mexico or born in America, but yeah, a group that's cooking up what looks to be great Mexican food out of this truck. Their signature dish is the what is it? The
Huevos Rancheros.
Oh, yeah.
and that looked like it was a real winner. They're bringing some style and some personality. I like to see what they do about it.
He's also bringing some nice daddy issues to the table.
Oh, yeah.
His dad doesn't think
that men should be in the kitchen.
men should be in the kitchen and doesn't approve of his life choices, but he's here to show his dad that he's going to follow his dream and it's a good choice.
Right.
He had a real end of Cool Runnings moment with his dad when he came to visit the truck right there. It's pretty good.
So they're also from LA, right?
yeah.
Like half
I
the
think
teams
so.
are from LA, right?
Yeah, they're from the LA
Yeah.
area. Yeah.
A bunch of teams are from LA, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got the military moms. So that's 3. I don't think that they're all moms of people in the military. One of them is a wife of somebody in the military.
I think they're all wives.
I think they're all wives.
They're
like
all
they're-
wives.
They're military wives who spend a lot of their life being moms without the dad around.
Gotcha. Okay. Because that was confusing because then there's another person that came to the truck who's a mom of somebody who's serving.
Right.
So they're like,
Right.
okay.
And they said, I'm probably going to butcher this so that anybody that actually knows, but I think they said it was like a Blue Star
Yeah,
mom or
Blue
something.
Star, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is a mom of somebody who their child is serving in the
Yeah.
military.
Right.
Correct.
But I think they're not Blue Star moms. There was
Right.
this-
I think you're correct.
yeah, that's kind of, I guess that's where I got confused.
Yeah, and it's a little tricky with the family tree there. Like, I
And
also
the
didn't
name of the
clarify, like, so now that they're doing the food truck challenge, does that mean the dads are back and not overseas anymore?
very
It was
unclear.
kind of unclear.
Very unclear.
Yeah. All right. Number 7. Who
All right, we got the gourmet grads.
Oh, yes, we do.
Which are a bunch of fresh out of culinary school guys
Oh,
who
man.
really are feeling themselves because they went to the same gourmet school as Tyler, and they're just like, we know all about cooking and we're ready to show what we got and make just the best food.
These guys spend more time arguing about if the food they're cooking is good enough rather than selling to the 100 fucking people that are lined up in front of their truck.
How do you really feel about Harrison?
Idiots.
Oh my
They
god.
made a lot of questionable choices.
They
They
certainly
really
did.
Wasn't there like part of their like the reason they thought they were good? It's like, we're young, so we're in touch with the trends. We know what's going on in the food
He says,
world.
we know what's trending.
It's just like
They're really doing millennials dirty here. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Didn't have a great. I say they didn't come across great initially. I sort of warmed up to them later. They grew on me a bit, but then yeah. All right, last one. You think we can do it?
That's gonna be a question for you.
It's the folks from Texas, the
Oh.
Lone Star something or other. Lone Star Ranchos, Lone Star
Chuck Wagon.
Lone Star Chuck. Yeah, Chuck Wagon.
That's it.
It's a group of 3, a family. I'm not sure what city, but they're from Texas, and they're doing Texas style barbecue.
They're very from Texas.
They couldn't be more from Texas. They're wearing Lone Star flags, shirts. They got cowboy hats. Dude has a Lone Star tattoo on the underneath of his forearm.
Hey, you gotta be the brand, James.
They're
Be
like,
the brand.
these guys don't need, and we'll get into this. They don't need to do any more marketing. They are so marketed. It's not even like they're doing it all already. They just show up and yeah.
So they're interesting because they said they have kind of like a kind of barbecue business already going. It sounds like more that they're making like sauces and stuff.
Right.
And now they're actually trying to sort of have their own kind of thing where they're actually selling the food. And I was really curious, like, is that a good thing that they've kind of got some business experience, but it doesn't seem like they're used to like cooking or being in like the restaurant itself.
I think that any amount of business experience is good in this situation.
It definitely seemed that way. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
that
Right.
The Texas team did all right.
I think that one of the most interesting parts about the show is that like it really is like a business show because like you select the menu, you pick what ingredients to buy at the store, and you know how much all that stuff costs. Like you know what your margins are. Like the teams that know how to run a business do better in this competition for sure.
Oh yeah. Which team maybe didn't know how to do some of the
Ooh.
basics very well, do you think?
Ooh, well, I think there are a couple that come to mind. I think that we could talk about the grads.
We could.
Grads, or we could talk about.
I think we gotta save the grads
Okay,
for
okay,
episode
okay.
2.
Okay.
And we should probably talk about Chatty Chicken.
Chatty Chicken. Oh boy.
So the first episode out of the gate, the very first thing Tyler says, "Hey guys, here's $200 in your till. Go to the store. You're gonna cook 3 dishes, whatever you want to cook. They're your dishes. And the goal, I think you have to have one signature dish on the menu, and that's it. Go do it." The very first thing that these guys fail to do is bring the money with them.
Oh no! Hold on.
I'm not-
You're already jumping ahead to the troubles of Chatty Chicken.
Okay.
First thing they do.
There were numerous troubles, and you're starting with the wrong
So
one.
the whole
What
thing
was
with
the
this,
first thing?
thing with this truck is this is a Colonel Sanders looking dude, and he's famous for his fried chicken.
Okay.
And so they go to the grocery store to buy stuff, and they're looking at the oil, and they're just like, I don't know if we have enough oil to deep fry this chicken. It'll probably be fine. And they would go back to their truck. They don't have enough oil to fill the deep fryer, so now this dude's having to pan fry all this deep fried chicken, which is taking them forever. So that's the first day.
I still thought the money was the first day.
No.
That wasn't the first thing?
It might. It was later in the day.
So
I think it was
okay.
still day
Okay.
one.
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
So then when there's like, okay, we
gotta go get some more oil.
we've made some money selling this shitty grilled chicken that we had to sell because we couldn't sell the fried chicken.
the fried chicken Chattanooga
Well, this is
truck.
what Tyler calls and tells them they got to move from Santa Barbara to Venice Beach.
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
when they get to Venice Beach, they're like, let's do a little detour with because they each came in a car and then they get the truck. So they have a
Right.
branded car and a branded truck. It's like, let's take the car, go to a nearby grocery store, get some more oil, get that deep fryer going, and then we'll really get things moving.
Then we'll be in business.
Exactly.
And then what happened?
And then these fuckers, all 3 of them just hop in their car. They get to the store. And to be fair, I don't know how far the store is from the truck. I
They
don't know
said
how bad
about
traffic is.
10 minutes.
Okay, so that's not as bad as it sort of appeared at first.
But
But it's not great.
But it gets bad though.
Right. So they 10-minute drive to the store. The truck's parked back. They get to the store and they're like, shit. The Colonel Sanders dude left the money in the food truck.
Left the cash box in the food
Left
truck.
the whole cash box in the food truck. So now they're store like, I guess we gotta go back. And so now they turn the car around, they go back, they get the money,
No,
they
they
drive
get the cash
back.
box.
Yeah,
let's be
they
clear.
get the cash box. They get the cash box out of the food truck. The food truck they leave behind. They get back in their branded car. They go all the way back to the store. They get to the store again and they're like, shit, I don't have the keys to unlock the cash box.
that
What?
his daughter in the back seat cannot believe what's happening.
I still
Like,
can't believe it.
No.
Can you?
The daughter saw the writing on the wall in that moment. You could see it in her
Yeah.
eyes. She's like, "Oh no, this is over."
Yeah.
Look, I could see forgetting the money box. It's
Totally.
the first day. You're hopped up on competition.
You're not in that habit yet.
But like, for the love of God, make sure like after you've already fucked up and you've gone back, like make sure you got everything you need this time.
For sure.
And they just don't do it.
So then they get the oil. They bring all this oil back to fill up the deep fryer.
They fill it up.
Fill that deep fryer. They put all this oil in. And the dude's like, I can't figure out how to light this deep fryer. They can't figure out how to get the brand new food truck. They cannot figure out how to get the deep fryer going. So they've got all their money sitting in oil in the deep fryer. And they're screwed basically, and they have to go back to this grilled chicken scam,
Right, which takes forever to cook, and
Well, no,
it's slow.
I think the first thing they were actually still trying to fry the chicken, but in a pan, and it was taking too long. And then at this point, they abandoned fried chicken,
Right.
which is their whole brand, and went for grilled
I think
chicken.
there was a fried chicken like painted on the side of the truck.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah,
god.
chatty chicken. What do you guys do? Like, I really want to know if someone's like busted with the truck, or it's just they just don't know how to run a fryer,
I
or they
bet
don't
if
know how to run this fryer on the truck.
If the truck was busted, I feel like Food Network does something to like
Yeah.
to fix it, or be like, we can't eliminate them because of blah blah blah. They just don't know what the hell they're doing.
So I'm not sure if this was in season 4 that you watched, or a different season.
There were
So-
some mechanical issues in season 4, so that might be what you're
yeah.
thinking.
So like, so there's basically one team that had a very similar issue where they couldn't figure out how to light the grill. It was in their truck, and they couldn't figure out how to light the grill. And they're
Yep.
going all day, and then at some point, like some dude from like the food truck company or something, or like some kind of
no,
some kind of food truck
It's-
mechanic.
It's not a mechanic at all. It's the dude that was working in the grocery store. Like,
Was it
comes
really?
out. Yeah.
Are you sure?
'Cause they were in like the parking lot.
Oh, I thought that Food Network sent somebody from the food truck place to check it out, and then like the
Food
dude.
Network wasn't doing shit. They're just like filming it, just watching these idiots try to struggle with this truck.
So then the dude basically goes and like opens up this little panel on the outside of the food truck and just turns the gas on. He's like, "You guys didn't turn the gas on." So I definitely thought that was just going to happen again, and that
Oh,
might have
yeah.
been what was happening here.
it
Like,
totally could have been the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then same season, I think it was the same guys. It might have been a different guys. I know it was the guys from Philly. Basically, at some point, they can't crank the truck. Like, they just have to like go and move it, and it's just like it doesn't start. And they're under the truck, like hitting it with wooden spoons and shit. They're like, I don't know, hit the alternator or something. It'll make it go. It's definitely not the battery. I'll spare you a lot of time. It was definitely the battery, and they had to jump start it after
man.
many hours goes by.
Oh man.
So mechanical stuff definitely happens, and I think this is part of the show.
Yeah, it is for sure. But like, I do think that if there's something that actually goes wrong mechanically with the truck that is not the team's fault, then like they make some kind of an effort to help fix it.
Yeah, they definitely didn't help those guys crank that truck in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But, like, I didn't see that episode. Like, was that their own fault?
That the battery died.
Like,
Well,
if you
it
kill
might
the
have been.
battery
It might
through
have
your
been.
own fault, Food Network's not helping you with
I
that.
mean,
They're
like-
you screwed up. That's
you left the
your
lights
business.
on or whatever.
It's a
yeah.
brand new battery on that truck. Like,
Right.
You know.
And to be fair, all they had to do was jump start it, and then it worked. And they just were like, "That's definitely not the battery."
Yeah.
So that like the chicken, like they wasted all this money on oil they didn't use, and they wasted so much time because like it's
10 minutes
we're
there,
looking
10
at
minutes
10 minutes there
back.
back. It's like let's say they waste 45 minutes plus who knows how long spent in the store, like
Yeah.
an hour. They don't have that much time to sell stuff. That's a lot of their time budget just gone.
That really killed them. They
Yeah.
they didn't have a shot after that whole situation.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
yeah.
So Tyler calls. First of all, I want to point out that we were very close to having another Tej as the host.
It was
He's
close.
Tyler, what's his last name again?
Tyler Florence.
Tyler Florence.
TF.
It's TF. It's so close to TJ.
Oh, yeah.
But no. So
Your name has to start with a T if you're going to be a reality show host.
well, it's them not MTV's. Who knows? But, so he gives these calls to sort of give them these sort of like little extra challenges or things that changed, and like they make it seem like he's on the phone with all of them, but. So, does he actually call them and he's calling them one by one? Or do they have 7 producers call them, but they make them say, "Hey, Tyler, what's going on?"
I have option 3, which is it's a group call that he just tells all the teams at the same time on some kind of group call or something like that.
I'm actually with Harrison on this one,
Oh,
and
yeah?
it's probably because I've seen the other seasons where I'm like, I had that very same question, and it wasn't clear until we're watching like several of these like calls kind of go through. And there's like very tiny details that you can sort of catch occasionally that you're like, oh, it sort of implies it's a group
I
call
mean-
because somebody will say something. And there was one occasion on season 4 where Tyler like acknowledged it and was like, "Oh, that's right, like the Hawaiian team, that is what we're gonna do," and then like
Oh,
still said it with
interesting.
everyone.
See, because they were saying random things on the phone, all the different people, but like it didn't seem like they could hear each other. But that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, who knows how they do it? But
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if the other teams can talk to the other teams or how they've set up the group call, but it seems that at least though, like Tyler is talking to all of them in a broadcast, and they can all hear him at the same time.
yeah.
Interesting.
And Tyler, I think, can hear them, but it's unclear. That part's not super clear.
Oh man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Does Tyler ever not wear sunglasses?
I don't think so. I think he's all sunglasses all the time.
He definitely in these 2 episodes, but like they were in L.A. and Tucson, so
Pretty
maybe it was just
sunny.
a sunny locale.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
yeah. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. Like I know there was an episode in Portland where it was not so sunny. I can't recall, but seems likely.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So other than making the move from Santa Barbara to Venice, was there any other special challenge from Tyler in this one, or was that it?
Yeah, they definitely had some kind of cooking challenge, right?
It was it was a secret cooking challenge.
Oh, it was the guys who showed
For
up.
the specialty.
for the signature dish, right?
Yeah, so they had 2 guys who own apparently the top-rated food truck in L.A.
Yeah.
something about lobsters, cuisine, Maine or lobster. I
Maine
don't know.
lobster truck.
Cousin something.
Yeah, that's it.
And they all came by individually and just were like, hey, can you give me whatever you think the best thing on the menu is? And they tried it and sort of, then gave some critiques. And then they get to pick their first, second, third place. And so first place, you get 500 extra put in your amount sold. Second place was 200. Third place was 100. And so it just boosts your money.
Exactly.
Yep.
And, yeah.
I think that, and as you watch more episodes of this, it's interesting to see how some of the different trucks treat the challenges sometimes, because sometimes these trucks just decide that they have no shot at the challenge and don't even participate in it. They're just like, we're making enough money just doing what we're doing and selling. We're going to forego whatever prize money from this challenge and just focus on selling our food. That definitely happens.
We had a little bit, we'll get into that. There's a little bit of that in the second episode. Maybe not as much as there should have been.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So in this first one, we were kind of noticing, I think, as it was happening, that these dudes were sort of commenting on some that were like, "Oh, this is interesting. Like, where'd you get that recipe from? Oh, it's family or whatever." And then sometimes just like, "Yeah, this team had a great personality." And you're like, "Okay, I guess the food wasn't very good."
Got to find something nice to say.
Yeah. Does anyone recall who came in what place?
Mexican team came in first place.
Yep.
And then the mom was crying that they loved her huevos rancheros. so
Right.
much.
I did kind of want to try that. It looked pretty good.
I think the fish taco team, I think, came in second.
Yeah. Yeah, California team came in second, and then I'm not sure who was third.
Was it the gourmet grads were third?
Yeah, I think it was actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, hey, if those guys can do anything, I guess it's make a tasty plate of food.
I don't even remember what theirs
Theoretically,
was.
I don't remember what theirs was either.
Yeah. It wasn't super memorable.
Yeah.
They got to work that marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I was surprised the baking guys weren't getting like more interesting stuff going.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting some kind of like crazy like
They're just basically like, we got a bacon burger.
yeah.
And then one of the comments from the food truck guys was like, they put all this coleslaw on it, and like you taste that more than the bacon.
Yeah.
And, like, I
Why
fear
is
the
there even
bacon-
coleslaw on a burger at a bacon truck? That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
You just got to go Baconator style.
Yeah.
Right.
Stack it.
They're Chen for bacon. Just give them the bacon.
And they're not chanting for fucking coleslaw.
No, definitely not.
There was that in the Middle Feast truck. Looked like they were putting out some interesting stuff. They were making like a shawarma.
They didn't make shawarma.
Oh, they didn't. I thought they were.
They went to Costco to get stuff to make shawarma and hummus and couldn't find anything they needed.
Right.
So then they pivoted to kebabs and some word I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man.
So
So
James, who got kicked off first week of Great Food Truck Race?
Yeah. I was trying to think. Was there any like other like interesting like speed bumps or truck stops or anything?
I think the only speed
On
bump they
day
gave
two?
them in the first one was that they had to move cities in the middle of the weekend. I think.
Right.
I think that was it. Yeah,
Because
I think
it-
it was they had to do like a lot of the intro stuff the first episode.
Right.
and
They were
things like
kind of
that,
taking it
so-
easy on him because it was their first weekend ever running a food truck, and
And for one team, they're last.
yeah, and like part of this in these seasons where the people have not run the truck before is like Tyler kind of tries to teach them lessons that are going to be important about running a successful food truck. So the first episode is all about find your signature dish. That was kind of what it was all focused on.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then we got into the 8 teams. Somebody's got to go. There's too many people on the show, right? Like it's hard to keep up. Like
It's a lot of teams.
Some teams didn't even get a ton of FaceTime. Like Middle Feast. I guess spoilers. they survived, but they did not get a lot of airtime on the first episode.
Nope.
I felt like.
No, definitely not.
So yeah. Well, was there anybody before? Like who was everybody kind of liking? Like, do we want to get into that, or do we want to just like say who the heck got off the show?
We'll do that after the second episode.
Okay. So the first one off, no surprise to anybody, is the truck that just couldn't do anything right most of the time, which I feel like in this case was a shame because, you know, I kind of like their spirit about them.
Yeah.
I was not convinced that this was the best fried chicken, so it was indeed Chatty Chicken that went home this week.
But this is the last that America is going to see of Chatty Chicken.
Apparently, it's not the last. I mean, to be determined, I guess.
I am willing to say that is the last I'm hearing of Chatty Chicken.
I think so too.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like those guys were interesting. I think they had a cool spirit about them.
They seemed like they were really
could do.
committed to the idea of like opening this restaurant, and they'd like already tried to do it and had some misfires on it. And she's like, no one wants this food truck more than we do. It's like, if you wanted it so bad, maybe bring them.
Right.
I mean, they like. I would have liked to have seen them do a week where they actually had a working deep fryer that they could really make their food on, because we didn't get to really see them make their dish. Like,
One more question about their adventure to get the oil. Why did all three of them have to get in the car? Couldn't you leave someone behind with the truck to kind of like start getting stuff ready? Like,
yeah,
is
you probably
getting oil
could.
a 3-person job?
That's probably.
Is there some rule that like they can't open the food truck unless they're all there or something? I don't know.
I think that there might be, because I'm not sure that you can like leave 2 people cooking in the truck and then send 1 person to the grocery store. Like I haven't seen that before on the show. There might be some kind of rule there. They don't say it on the show, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that they really split up that much. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That was the bottom one out, and I'm trying to think
Second
who
from
else
the bottom was
yeah.
bacon.
Yeah, bacon was in the bottom 3 for sure.
A little bit surprising, but
And who was the other one?
And then I don't remember who. I only remember that bacon.
Was it Middle Feast? Middle Feast.
Might have been Middle Feast.
Yeah.
yeah,
They were kind of put on, the
So
bottom
the
3
interesting thing
notice.
was, so Mexican won the $500, and like, but the Texas team actually got first place with 1,500 in sales with nothing from the prize. So that was very impressive showing by
Oh yeah,
Texas.
they showed up and went. Yeah, they put down.
yeah.
And,
I like the only thing one of the things I wish this show did better. Like, I wish that at the end of it, like, they had the breakdown of like what everything was. It's like, what was their food cost? Like, how much did they sell? Like, what was their like? It'd be interesting to see where all the money went. Like, I don't know. I know it's hard because it's all cash, but it'd be interesting to see where the money went.
I actually don't think it would be that hard. I just think it's part of the show, and like sort of at the end, it's like it's not clear who's doing like how well they're doing, and so it's kind of like
No, like, but after,
I can't tell. Yeah, I don't know.
Like at the end of the episode, like, I want to see, like, is there announcing the results? I want to see, like, Chatty Chicken. Like, here's their expenses.
X
Here's what
on
you sold.
food, yeah.
Here's
You
your
spent
profit.
$500 on oil you didn't use.
You're done. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You need that second screen experience where they're showing you, the
Oh, yeah.
the breakdown on the second
I
screen.
need that extra info.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's really the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
Tyler asks for the keys and then sends them on out of there.
You
back
gone.
to Tennessee. He also kind of sets it up, and I don't know that these people actually drive all the way home, but he sets it up that like, all right, give me the keys to your food truck and get ready for the long drive home, and like sends them home in the branded car.
Do they get to keep the branded car?
No, I think they make them drive home and then they take the car away.
That would be hilarious.
But like, I don't know, but like,
What
it's
if-
definitely teed up that way.
That's their car. And they're like, give us your car. We're going to brand it. And when you leave, you take your branded car with
That'd
you.
be hilarious.
I wonder if because they definitely showed up in cars that were maybe not that different from the cars that were branded.
I think it might have been.
That's interesting. That's a whole new twist.
I don't know, dude.
The cars, like, it was interesting to me.
But they're
like,
all like new cars,
and they're different cars.
Right.
It's not like they all have the same
they
car.
really?
Yeah, yeah,
Some
like
were
one dude had a
Priuses, some were
SUV.
Kia. Like, it was
Yeah.
definitely different. So
How are those Texas people not in like some kind of giant truck?
Because you got to tow it behind the food truck. I don't know.
No, they drive it. They drive
convoy.
both cars.
They convoy.
Do they convoy?
They
it?
convoy it.
Oh man.
We saw them convoy for sure.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
I feel like that's part of the Texas truck like marketing is like this big ass 4x4 truck from Texas with like a giant Texas flag hanging out the back.
Could be. Yeah.
But it's not. It's just like a SUV.
Yeah, I'm down on this
Curious.
idea that you have to bring your own car,
And then they
And then
brand
you
it.
drive home in it.
and then you drive home in it,
So
and you
wait,
can
do they
repaint
take
it if
the
you want.
branding off like now that
No.
you lost the food truck?
You have to
race?
deal with it.
That's your problem. You can keep it. You can get rid of it.
You have
It's
to
up
live
you.
with your mistakes.
Maybe
you
that's
have to
why-
live with that chatty chicken
Yeah.
car wrap.
But maybe that's why, like, every time somebody gets kicked off, they're like, "This isn't the last you've seen of us," because like we've already got that branded car.
Already got the car, just need to get a new truck.
That would have been great if one of the teams from LA had lost the first week. Like, gotta take that big drive 20 minutes down the street.
Yeah.
Oh man, but hometown advantage did come in handy there. I mean, they were calling their friends and family, and they were all coming out.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely played a factor.
Yeah.
Like both the Venice Beach people and the Mexican team had people they knew, so helping them out with various.
Definitely another interesting aspect of this show versus a lot of similar shows. All the teams have cell phones that they can call people with, that they can tweet with,
And
that they
research
can
stuff, map
research
stuff,
things. They can find businesses and call them and arrange a parking spot. Like they have full use of like phone and internet, which is kind of nice.
Which I feel like also makes it feel pretty real,
It
right? It's
feels
like,
more realistic,
Hey, I'm trying
yeah.
to run this truck. I'm working on a Saturday. I'm waking up. I'm calling some businesses. I'm trying to work out a deal.
For
Where
sure.
can I post up? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's that same thing with like hey, they give you money, you can pick what to spend it on. If you want to pay some dude for a parking spot in front of their bar, you can do that. Like it's kind
Exactly.
of interesting.
They're not taking away their cell phones and sending them to club night.
No, oh man.
All right, so let's transition to episode 2.
So dose.
So number dos, we got 17 to this point.
Yeah.
And we're on location
Tucson,
now.
Arizona.
Tucson.
Yeah.
Where it's
And,
nice and hot.
This episode's all about marketing.
Yes.
Trying to get your marketing going. So it starts with
So what does Tyler give all the
Nottage
teams?
giving them flags, branded flags for their different food trucks, and they're very excited.
And a certain stipulation on the money.
Yes, they get 300, but they have to spend 100 of that on marketing.
And they get to decide.
These teams have very different ideas of what marketing is.
They're all over the map.
It's great.
I feel like we should break down some of the marketing strategies here.
Should we jump right to our favorite one?
Oh
or-
yeah.
Oh man,
We're jumping right in that
Mine. I mean, it's the best one.
So Middle Feast just sees one of those guys on the side of the street who's just waving around a sign, like spinning it
The
and
sign
throwing it in the air
twirlers.
and stuff. Yeah, and they shout out the window, "How much does it cost to hire you?" And he says $30 an hour.
And then they're just like thumbs up. Let's do this thing.
Well, it's
And
like, hey,
then
we'll
he's-
call you.
Then he's there the whole weekend.
It's so
Did
good.
they pay him like $900, or did they negotiate a deal on his rate?
I
or
bet
what?
they just
They
gave
gave
him
the
the
guy
100, and then I think that the guy was just excited about the situation and wanted to keep being on TV and just kept hanging out. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
it seems like.
And this guy is quite the character.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know how to describe
I wouldn't
describe
say
this guy.
that he's on brand for the Middle Feast truck necessarily.
So the Middle Feast truck is like this
Uh,
blue truck, blue and white is kind of the colors, you know, Middle Eastern vibe. And this guy's some kind of desert looking guy. I don't know how to. He's like his skin is a little weathered and sun beaten. He's been in the sun a little bit.
He definitely should have been on the bacon truck.
oh yeah.
He was on brand for the bacon truck.
And he's wearing, like, all red.
Yeah.
And he's flipping this sign around.
The best part is when he shows up with the sign. That's just the sign from like the furniture store that he works at with like a Middle Feast like thing taped onto it.
with piece of cardboard. It's a
piece of cardboard with a marker.
It's so good.
Man, when I saw that sign, I'm like, now this guy just like he already kind of looked a little homeless, but now he definitely looks homeless. Like he's got this cardboard sign. It's like, oh, I'm like, man, this can't be good.
Not say that it was an effective marketing strategy for them.
But the other food truck's like, hey, do you guys see the Middle Feast truck? They got this sign twirling out. We got to do something. We got to get out there. I'm like, you're worried about that guy? He's gonna scare people off.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see a lot of marketing strategies out there, with the exception of a couple that like really did very much. Like they were just kind of like the graduate guys. I don't exactly know what their concept
They went
was.
to like a party.
It's at
city
some point they go to
store.
like a party city.
No, I know what their idea was. They're like, we're gourmet grads. We got to do like a dorm themed thing. So we're
Yeah.
gonna get party stuff. We're gonna dye our hair. We're gonna get some sort of like fake beer pong thing going.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So they just bought all this party stuff and then didn't do any of that.
Yeah, so they bought this like green hairspray. They bought these green Mardi Gras beads. They were gonna play some beer pong in the parking lot. They never set the beer pong up. Like there was some kid that sprayed the green
green paint in his
hairspray in
hair.
that one guy's hair, and that was about it. That was about it with their marketing strategy.
Which I don't really think we saw them use any, aside from this little bit of hair paint. I don't
Yeah.
think we saw them use any of this stuff.
No,
They occasionally they brought these little like megaphone things to put over your mouth, and they occasionally were shouting out of those a little bit. That was
Right.
it.
not great.
That was a kind of a flop.
Oh man.
So who had some good marketing strategies? So someone called the local news, right? Who did that?
That was the Italian truck. That was a good move. Sorry,
Italian?
not Italian. Mexican truck.
Okay.
The Mexican truck. Those colors, those three colors,
Yeah,
sometimes get flipped around.
really gotcha.
Yeah, the Mexican truck called the news though.
Right, so they called
Yeah.
like the local radio station or something.
I think
and
just
asked
the
them-
news.
Oh,
I
I
just
think it was
the
local
news.
TV news.
And
Oh, nice.
Like, which seems like a great strategy because if you're rolling into town with all these food trucks and the Food Network, like you're going to be able to get some coverage of that for sure.
Right. I think they just told him like straight up, like, "Hey, we're doing this food truck competition on the
Like,
food channel.
you should come out and
tell
send
everyone
somebody.
about it."
Like, hey, send a camera crew.
right.
Bacon Team reached out to food blogs that were big on bacon in the area and just let them know, like, hey, bacon, send out the bacon army our way. And they had a big line.
It's
Yeah.
not clear how them or the people that called the news spent that $100 on the marketing.
Well, they might have just paid for the ad spot or something. I don't know. It's
yeah,
unclear.
maybe.
It's unclear.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Also, the other one is unclear. I think it was the military moms that
that one
basically
didn't seem
did-
unclear to me.
Like they basically did some kind of Twitter thing where they're like, "Hey, come down to the food truck, take a photo of us. We'll take a photo with you, and if you post it on social media, we'll give you $1 off your food."
It's basically we'll give you $1 if you post our photo on Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know if that counts towards the 100.
So
I
one
think
thing
that-
I'm
yeah.
not sure if it counts towards that was a lot of these people were pairing up with local establishments, whether it's bars or like, I think the big guys are outside of Dairy Queen or something. I don't know if there was some like paying $50 to get that
Yeah.
space or something like that.
That's certainly
Because the moms were at some sort of veterans thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might have been the
And
VA
so
or
I
something.
don't. It's like I don't know if that was like some financial reason to use that space.
It seemed like to me that they just paid 100 people to post an Instagram photo is what it seems like.
Might have been.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And then, what did our California friends do?
So California friends saw the guy with the spinning sign, and they're like, "Let's improve on this idea." And one of the ladies took her shirt off, just had a bikini top underneath, and was just walking around in her bikini all day long,
Just waving that
Just
food
waving
truck
that flag. They tried to set up like a little beach things, had a little like fake wading pool set up, and she's just hanging out by the fake pool, and seemed to be a pretty effective marketing
That
strategy.
seemed to be
It
it.
worked. It worked very well. Worked very well. There's a reason why when you walk around at like all these trade shows that they have all these ladies trying to wave you into these booths to look at stuff because
Gets the attention.
that's it.
So I mean, you gotta give them credit. They used what they had and it worked well.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy overall.
Gourmet grads.
No
were like,
no one forced her to do it. She seemed very enthusiastic about doing that, which I think is important. But
Oh
yeah.
yes, she was very willing.
yeah, for sure.
I like when the gourmet grads are just like, yeah, if we had some girls on our team, we'd do the same thing.
Totally.
I think the bacon dude said the same thing. He's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to compete with that going on.
Yeah.
He's just like this bigger dude that's like,
I think even the sign twirler was like, oh, I don't know if I can be with that.
I feel like one of those bacon dudes should have just taken their shirt off and got out there next to her and just been doing the bacon thing. I think they would have gotten some people.
oh
Actually.
yeah, just like embrace it.
Yeah.
What did the Texas people do on this? I can't really recall that one.
I don't know.
I don't
Like,
remember either.
Nothing really stands out.
Nothing that
Like,
memorable.
I think they
I don't
just-
remember them buying anything.
I think they just
or-
pulling giant lines all day, and that's about it.
they just
were.
execute.
Yeah. That's definitely like part of the show is like don't get too distracted by the side stuff or else you're not going to do what's important and actually sell some damn food. Like, yeah.
So then there were a couple of Tyler challenges in this one. So the first one was they have their like 3 dishes that are sort of part of their theme. Then he tells them they now need to also sell, was it a Sonoma dog?
Sonora.
Sonora
Yeah,
dog.
Sonora dog.
And they're like, just ask anyone on the
And
street
they're like,
what
what's
it is.
that? And he's like, ask anyone. So, of course, Middle Feast asked the sign twirler. There's a screenshot of the sign twirler explaining it to them.
Local Tucson expert.
Yeah.
It was basically a hot dog wrapped in bacon with like 5 or 6 different kind of toppings on. Tons
Bunch of
stuff
nonsense
on,
on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Middle Feast is real at a disadvantage because they're all kosher. Now they got A, a hot dog, B, wrapped in bacon.
Yeah.
And like I actually respect, like they basically were like, we got to do what we got to do. But then they kind of tried to put like a little flair with like the toppings and stuff they put
Some
on
like
it.
the tzatziki sauce or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually looked pretty good.
did
at
look
the,
pretty
at
good.
the end there.
Yeah.
The team that really went all out was Team California. Was like, we're all about healthy food. This is not our brand. So like they get turkey dogs. They put kale on it. They do all these kind of things to kind of try to make it a little different. And it seemed to work pretty well for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I
Definitely
mean,
did.
in fact, they won the cooking challenge
They
for that
did.
thing,
They
which is
did.
crazy.
Which was just if you sold the most hot dogs.
Yeah.
It was again 5-2-1 for first, second, third.
Yep.
Who had that like shitty looking like very plain like hot dog wrapped in bacon with some cheese whiz on it?
That would be the Gourmet Grads.
Man, I think I made the same comment during the show. I'm like, that doesn't look very gourmet.
It looked like they poured a bunch of nacho cheese on it.
I'm like, it was tiny. It looked like just a little puny hot dog. It wasn't even like a good sized hot dog or anything. And just like a plain bun, a piece of bacon twirled around it, and then just like movie theater brand nacho cheese just dripped over it.
Hey man, like I'm never gonna complain about like a chili cheese dog or something like that. I'm
There was no
I'm
chili.
totally cool with it. They
Yeah.
gotta tie it together. Just bacon and cheese. doesn't
It's
seem
like you got to
it's-
put a little effort into this thing. I
Yeah.
feel like, and that was dropping the ball.
So then the Mexican team was really was struggling to like be like, oh, come have some huevos rancheros or this hot dog. And,
Yeah.
like it was so
didn't make a lot of sense for their
as
truck.
you were sort of describing, they made the decision of stop trying to sell a hot dog. Like
This
we've
is
got these
yeah.
hot dogs, it's on the menu, but just try to sell the Mexican food because that's all we're good at.
They knew they weren't gonna win the hot dog challenge, and they walked away from it quick.
Yeah,
Which
which I
is
think was smart. Like if you're not going to come in top third, there's no advantage just really selling more.
Totally, yeah.
So in retrospect, like them or like Middle Feast could have been like, we're just gonna not spend any money on hot dogs, not do it, and just be like, we're not gonna sell it and take the L on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, did they have to buy some hot dog stuff?
I'm not sure whether or not they had to buy it. I mean, like I have certainly seen teams completely opt out of these challenges before, and Tyler usually gives them some shit for it. But like that's about all that happens, you know.
It didn't seem like Tyler gave the Mexican people any shit for this one.
Well, because they actually
it's like they tried it.
They actually gave it a try, but like
just
sometimes
made a
when the
business
teams
decision.
just really don't try, when they're just like, we're not going to do that, we're selling a shit ton of food already.
Right.
Sometimes Tyler gives them a hard time about it.
and it didn't happen in either of these two episodes, but like sometimes like he'll have restrictions on the ingredients or like say things like, hey, like whatever you have on the truck, you can't go back to the store, stuff like that. So like there's other like
Sometime-
curveballs
yeah.
they'll kind of throw at you.
Sometimes
And,
they might like
yeah.
force it by being like, hey, this is the only thing you can sell right now. Like, I
Right.
mean, yeah.
So like something like you, I think you kind of don't want to just roll the dice totally and be like, we're just not even gonna buy any hot dogs, because he could just say like on day 2, hey guys, remember that hot dog thing? That's all you're allowed to sell for the rest of the thing, and then you're just screwed.
you can't go shopping again.
Right. So like
Interesting.
there's some of that to like take into account too.
Got it.
I do wonder though on the Middle Feast truck if having that bacon hot dog actually was an advantage for some of the folks that sort of roll up to the truck and are like, oh, what do you have? And like maybe they were like looking for something a little different, and so like them having this like one option was sort of like, oh, I've never seen that before, or like not that they'd never seen it because it was the local dog, but like
Right.
I've never seen this like take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely possible that like it's, you know, it sort of seemed like the Mexican team had a lot of trouble with sort of the branding of it. But Middle Feast, it seemed like they were kind of like, oh yeah, I'd buy this thing. And then people were trying like, oh, this is a great version
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah,
So-
I think somebody said it's the best hot dog they've ever had or something.
Like, man, that's amazing that a kosher truck gave you the best bacon hot dog you've ever had.
Right? It's just shock.
Team Bacon really dropped the ball on this. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they not win this competition?
They didn't even place.
No.
Insane.
I don't think they're long for the Great Food Truck.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So what was there another challenge?
The
or
other
two?
challenge was they were sort of at their spot. Sort of was then they had to go to this folk festival, and they were basically going to line up 7 in a row and be at the folk festival. And so they're just all competing side by side, and so the sign
with
twirlers
the-
there, the
the
bikini,
bikini
girls there.
And 20,000 folk music fans.
Yeah. And then at one point, the gourmet grads just decide to take a break and they're just wandering around and no one's at their food truck. And everyone else can't believe it. Like, what are they doing? Why are they not like at their truck?
The decisions that team makes over and over again are just astounding.
What, and like they teed it up like we're gonna go scope out the competition, and you're like, okay, and then do what?
Just
And
send
then
one person to look at what people are doing
yeah.
if you need to do that.
I really don't know. Like that was a lapse.
It really seemed like they were like, they made so much more money the second weekend than the first weekend. That they're like, oh, we're doing so much better. That they didn't factor in everybody was doing so much better.
Oh yeah, there's like man, we did way better than last week.
Yeah, that like it's true. Like every team sold way more this week, but like they seem to just be like, oh, we're doing so much better than last week. We're good. There's no way we're in last place. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other challenge was Tyler tells them they gotta go in an hour and do a jingle in front of the whole folk festival to try to convince people to come to their food truck.
Yeah. And I think he's like, hey, you got 30 minutes to write this jingle, and then you're on stage.
Yeah.
And like some of these people are kind of embracing it, and
Yeah.
some are very shitty at this whole ordeal.
Team
Yeah.
Bacon did write an actual jingle, so give them credit for that.
Yep. And the Texas people.
The Texas people.
Not as I think Bacon people like. Do we
Yeah.
agree they won that competition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
they
hands
actually
down.
wrote a jingle. Like 90% of the teams didn't write a jingle at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Just-
I think all of the other ones didn't. Like the Texas one tried, but it wasn't like.
Next one was kind of a jingle. A little
yeah,
bit,
it was
but
like some lyrics.
Bacon was the one that was like a legit actual jingle.
Agreed.
I think my favorite part is when the military moms do that kind of military chant one, and then the middle feast truck doesn't know what to do, so they just copy the same tune for theirs like immediately after. It was so
It
ridiculous.
was pretty good. I
It
just
didn't
like
make any
that
sense for their truck.
Team
It really
California
didn't.
just stuck with the bikini as their centerpiece on their marketing
Yeah, they just came on stage with the bikini girl, and then the other two holding the flag, waving
Hey.
around with sunglasses,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
and they just did their chant. They just did like the what is it, fried
fish taco,
fish taco,
fried avo.
just fish taco fried up, and they're just yelling about this, and everyone's like, "Where's the jingle?"
Where's the jingle indeed?
Oh man, I love what the producers like kind of just made it look like they fell on their face too. It was just like, you guys did nothing here. What are you doing?
Gotta know your audience.
So they definitely flopped that, which I
like-
don't know if there was a real penalty aside from like the people didn't maybe go to their truck.
That's the thing. Like a bad but memorable one is probably better than a just kind of
Yeah.
fine, unmemorable.
Yeah,
one.
it's a promotional opportunity on stage. You can get on stage and basically do whatever you want. No one's checking to make sure you did a jingle. Like,
You get on stage, just take a dump on the stage, walk off, and be like, I gotta check out this food truck. What's going on?
Is that your reaction to somebody's taking a shit on a stage?
I'm saying hypothetically.
hypothetically, Rob gets very excited by some food truck guy taking a shit on a stage.
hey
Not
man,
me.
just
People in
means,
Tucson.
it just means he's been eating a lot of the food. It must be good food.
Shots
I
fired.
think you're just trying to burn Tucson now. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, so the jingles happen, and that's about what you think it is, where
Yeah.
they're mostly terrible. And, then,
then
they sell some more food.
They sell some more food. And then we get one more bad decision by the gourmet grads who are like, we've sold enough. Let's just get out of here.
Let's just pack it in, boys.
And they just leave early.
Oh my god, what did they?
Why? How? Why would that ever happen? Like, you don't stop until they tell you to stop, or you run out of food, and
Right.
that's it. Like,
And I think a lot of the other trucks, like they were the first to leave for sure. But I think a lot of the other trucks started packing up too. Like, oh, it's getting dead, like whatever. I'm thinking, like, where the hell what else are you doing? Like, this is your whole thing right now.
they definitely had some kind of cutoff time.
Yeah, there's definitely like you can cook and you can't cook time. But then like the California people just keep like, hey, everyone else is leaving. There's some people here that seem to be having a good time. We're gonna keep serving food until people don't
Middle
want to buy
Feast
anymore.
also stayed pretty late.
And they did too, yeah. And they looked like they were selling good.
And California said that they sold out their hot dogs at
Right.
the very end. So that was, important for the challenge.
I mean, you want to be there to catch people leaving a music festival. That's when you sell all the food.
Right. They've been hanging out all day in a hot Arizona sun.
And there was that one guy at the food truck who was definitely high ordering some food.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, definitely happened.
And
So I have
the
a-
folk festival
yeah.
helps that too.
So I have a question on this too, which is the beverage situation.
Yeah,
So they were all really like focused on food and pretty much food only. I don't think there was any mention of beverage.
there's not a lot of discussion beverage, but you can definitely sell beverages.
And I remember in last season there was definitely some beverages being offered, Like I remember some like sweet teas being made, some lemonades and stuff.
Some of the smart trucks make like a big cooler,
Cheap
cheap
drink.
cooler thing full of like lemonade or iced tea or something and just sell it.
Right, and it seemed that there was no beverages being sold in these trucks.
Yeah, we didn't see it and they didn't mention it for
Yeah.
sure.
And so my question is, on top of that, can you like sell some alcoholic drinks on this thing?
I'm sure they don't have a liquor license, so probably not.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think the liquor license thing is a problem. But like,
Yeah.
none
Are
of the
there
stuff-
any food trucks that sell that? They just don't have
Liquor
that's not a
licenses are
thing.
also state by state. So there's you not you definitely
okay.
can't do that.
That's definitely
Yeah.
just a non-thing here.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about that. I was like, why aren't you just like selling some beer combos or something? Like, if
Right.
especially the
Like-
gourmet guys, the college guys.
college guys.
Like,
You
just
could
be
definitely go to
chucking cheap
Costco
beers off of that.
and get a bunch of soda and just be selling like sodas.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
A big markup, like that wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But they didn't show it. But I don't know if they weren't doing it or if they just
Yeah.
the editing just didn't
It's a
show
good
it.
Right.
question.
It does seem like the lemonade or something like that. You just go get like a big thing of powdered mix and like make a huge thing of it.
Yeah, and then
mix
it's
it with
like
some water and good.
selling a big cup for $5 a cup, and it's like infinite margins.
Right.
Like,
Especially in a place where like it's hot.
basically,
Yeah.
just water and powder.
Right. I mean, well, you set your own prices and all this stuff
Exactly,
too.
yeah.
Which is typically important too, like to set like appropriate prices that you'll sell, blah blah. So yeah. Yeah. What else do we got to say about that one?
All right, we just wrap up that California
Who
won the
did good?
challenge.
Yeah,
and
California
they
won
got
it.
the most money. But then Texas had second most money. But if you take away the 500 for winning the challenge, Texas had most money again.
Yeah, Texas
So
is looking
Texas
strong.
is looking real strong. California's looking pretty good. And then bottom.
Mexicans were 3?
No, they were
Like-
like bottom 3 this time.
Oh, they were.
Because I think the whole hot dog thing really kind of threw them. But their decision to just sort of bail on that paid off because they were 5th. And then bottom 2 was Middle Feast and Gourmet Grads.
How can we forget the gourmet
Obviously,
grads?
because they went home.
They sure did.
And like as like people are saying like, yeah, you know, California team got like $3,200. They're like, what?
They're like,
How-
oh,
that's
shit.
so much more.
It's like shit. We didn't even break 2,000.
Like maybe we shouldn't have like packed it in early, guys. Like were those guys like just going back to the hotel drinking? Like I'm very confused.
I think so.
I just don't think that they were like hungry enough. It's
No.
like
Yeah.
it's like these dudes are just a bunch of like they're guys right out of college and they're getting this opportunity, and like a lot of these other teams like people have been busting their ass their whole life.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And like they finally have an opportunity to do something, and like they're busting their ass on this thing.
I think the Gourmet Grads also had the thing. They're like, we've gone to this fancy culinary school. We're like pros. We know what we're doing.
Right.
And they just don't know anything about the business side of it.
For sure.
And that they don't know that they don't know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the food just has to be good enough to sell. Like it doesn't
Right.
like you don't have to spend too much money on the food.
and you don't have to be like arguing with each other a whole
no,
bunch.
it's like there's 100 people standing in front of your truck. Serve the people.
I'm
Like,
gonna close this window right now if this food's not up to quality.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the whole competition is just to sell this shit. Why would you possibly close the doors?
Yeah.
There's never a never a situation.
It's crazy.
They also proclaimed you'll hear from them again.
yeah.
They did, man. I
Haven't
can't imagine.
America hasn't seen the last of the gourmet grads.
I think they have.
I think they have to.
Man, I want to know for like all of the other seasons, has like any of those teams come back, like after losing? I bet not.
I bet not.
Like that'd be something. So yeah, so Gourmet Grads out of there,
Yep, done.
They're done.
done. So now we're down to 6 teams
Yeah.
in that season. Who you guys? Who do we like? Do we want
Favorites got to be.
we gotta
Texas.
They
Yeah.
look strong.
Texas is strong. I think the California truck's pretty strong too. Seems
California
like they know
truck's
what they're
strong,
doing.
and they got that bikini. Although
They got that bikini. That bikini is
Team Texas
Very
though has
valuable.
some quality in that department as well.
yeah, it's true.
I definitely think it's advantageous that the next destination for episode 3 is Austin, Texas.
Texas is going to destroy Austin.
If Texas goes home and the Austin stop, like
It's just an
they're
embarrassment.
never gonna be able to live it down.
They should have to like move out of Texas,
Yeah.
right? Like there should be a serious punishment if you.
Although
like,
there was an amazing thing in the next time on where they're going to make them swap food trucks with other people, and they put Middle Feast in the bacon truck.
It's like, oh, you guys thought it was bad last time? We have to operate the whole bacon truck today.
oh man,
Oh, that's,
who do you think is going to have to do the Texas truck? California?
I don't know. Good
I don't
question.
know. So I guess bacon Middle Feast swap, and so there's 4 left to pair up. So you got California, Texas, Mom, military moms,
Mexican.
and Mexicans. Imagine the
knows?
Mexicans do the I think Mexicans do the Texas truck. I think that's the
that'd
play.
That'd be good.
And then moms in California swap. I think that's pretty good.
That'd be pretty good.
But like, if you're operating the mom's truck, like, what? Like, I don't even know what their signature stuff really is.
So
It's
I think
just-
that it's like it seemed like it's like you have to execute their menu because like they already have all the ingredients and have done all the prep. So then you have to just go and execute the menu that they already have. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, so you got to sell the mom's thing, but like that's gonna be hard to pitch because like the whole thing is we're military.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're not really. We're just
We're
doing
just
their
using-
truck.
we're just a bunch of beach guys.
We're just profiting off this idea of military moms right now.
Ooh. We're just a bunch of surf kids
Yeah.
out from California.
Never been to war,
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely against that brand a lot.
you know.
That'll be it's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I do like the Mexican family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
They
feel
got a lot
like
of heart.
They got a lot of spirit. And like I think what'll be interesting on that one is whether they can broaden beyond just Mexican cuisine. Like so like the second like some crazy challenge comes in where like, hey, you can only use Spam or something crazy.
Right.
Like that'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what they can do with that.
Like they struggled with the hot dog thing. So I think that is gonna trip them up at some point.
Right.
They can't like.
They're not
I
as
think it was
adaptable.
really impressive that the California people, the hot dog was not in their brand, and they managed to sort of make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have done some kind of Italian. Fuck. What am I
What are you
doing?
doing?
What
What's
am
going
I
on
doing
over there?
today? They could have done some kind of Mexican twist on that hot dog. I think though,
Or Italian.
or
Either-
Italian
either.
even. Just change it up.
Maybe
you know?
they should just become an Italian truck.
I think that the branding speaks to Italian more than Mexican for me for some reason.
Those huevos rancheros.
Those huevos rancheros, Italy's famous for them.
All right, we got to go ratings on that or what?
Oh man, yeah. So I'm curious of like I feel like we've all been pretty positive about this show. What are some of the things that are maybe not so positive? Either things that have annoyed you or things that are like that's not so good. Like anything kind of stand out?
I don't know. It's pretty good.
I feel like the thing to me is like from time to time I get annoyed by Tyler and sort of stepping in to like add a curveball, especially when it kind of sort of when like he'll sort of tee it up as like, hey, I want you guys to just focus on today and like do this thing really well. But then like an hour later he calls like, remember that thing I said? Well, forget that. Now we're only going to use potatoes or whatever. And it's just like sometimes he just does stuff like that. And it's not just him, right? It's the producers. And I feel like it sort of manipulates the show in a certain way that like doesn't it keeps it closer probably by design than like just having a team run away with it.
Right.
That's and you know I get it. It probably makes it for
Yeah.
better TV, but it is kind of frustrating. Like sometimes I'm like, hey, I just want to see the like California truck make some like whatever their stuff is.
Yeah.
Like stop trying to make them make this crazy other thing.
I think that like the problem that happens if you don't have that stuff in there is that all the episodes get really samey because it's just like you just go everywhere and you make the same food everywhere
Right.
and there's a big line of people and like I think you need some of that stuff to like spice it up. Like he definitely like screws him over in a bunch of situations though.
Oh yeah,
That
and like a
definitely
couple that
happens.
stand out is like, all right, you can't go shopping again, or like you can only use this local ingredient, or what. The local ingredient's kind of an interesting one, but
yeah, like I like when they give them challenges that they can plan for,
Right.
and that it isn't just like I know you had a plan, but throw it out the window and now do this thing.
Right.
Like there is one where it's just like, okay, we're gonna give you like whatever seed money, and you have to do all your shopping for the whole weekend, like in the first trip. Like you can
Right.
never go shopping again, so make sure that you buy the right amount of food. Right?
And then 3 hours later, he calls you and he's like, "Oh yeah, guess what? You have to change your menu." And you're like, "What do you mean? We just planned." And like, yeah, I agree. Like that's what kind of pisses you off. Sometimes you're like, "Hey, this team was really diligent. Like they ran the numbers and like they got all the right amount of stuff." And then you just like took their plan and flipped it upside down for no real reason.
I think that like that part of the reason why I don't have as big of a problem with it though is that I don't think that teams go home a lot because of that stuff. Like it seems like the teams that have a good game plan or doing well or serving their food tend to come out on top either way.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. I'm not sure that it changes like the outcome of it that much. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
fair.
And like in the 2 episodes we saw, I didn't feel like the challenges really changed that much about what was going on.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like the prize money is like $500 if you get for like prize money is meaningful, but it's not going to win you the challenge necessarily.
Right.
No, that's true.
Like
They didn't do the challenge in this one where it's sort of like a time element, which I do kind of like that one, which maybe is worth talking about. So like in the previous season 4, there's like several episodes where they'll have to like basically sell so many of a certain specialty dish, and then like once they're done selling, they have to basically race to like some point and get like a totem or something.
Oh, it's
and
a legit
like,
race.
Right. And like first team there gets the $500 and the totem or a special thing. Second place, et cetera, et cetera. And it's pretty interesting watching like teams try to like struggle to like find a spot, set up, sell as quickly as they can, like a certain amount of things, then book it and like get to the thing and start running up a thing. Like it's kind of fun to watch that.
Oh, that is something
and interesting too, because like do you focus on the strategy, like, because at the end of it, it's still about how much did you sell, right, in your till. So like, do you just try to sell that X and like leave, or do you try to sell like everything? Like, there's some interesting strategy decisions that come out of that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's kind of a cool twist that we didn't get to see in these two.
So I'm going to say something about this show that sounds like it's not a compliment, but I'm going to turn it into a compliment, is that it kind of reminded me of The Apprentice a little bit in terms of like, you're really seeing there's a skill to it, but there's also like just seeing like the mechanics of how you figure out a business and what sort of strategy you have. And like the first season of The Apprentice way back when was actually kind of good about that.
Yeah.
And then it just became like doing dumb commercials every week, and it wasn't as good anymore.
Yeah.
And then it became Celebrity Apprentice and even worse. But I did kind of like that the sort of business aspect to it was pretty sort of front and center, and that it, like we said, just making the best food isn't necessarily what you need to do to win, but it's an important part of it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Harrison, anything that you don't like about the show?
I mean, not really that we haven't already talked about. I mean, I think it's a very watchable show.
All right,
There's a lot of good things going for
should
it.
we dip on into ratings then? You want to start
we
us
can
off?
do the ratings. Yeah, this is definitely a top third show for me. If I'm forced to go with the James scale, I think it's going to be a 2. Be a middle of the top.
2, okay.
Middle of the top. I like it a lot, and I echo some of what Rob said. Like I like the focus on like running this business and kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit on what it takes to run a food truck. And I just kind of like the nature of the do whatever it takes to make more money than the other trucks, and like that's the game, and it's cool. Like it leaves it open to a lot of different strategies and ways of playing the game, and it's interesting.
Cool. Rob, how do you feel about it?
I'm giving it a top third. It was
Another
a very
one.
entertaining show, and like I saw that next time on, and I'm like, I probably need to watch that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man. Okay, well, I won't deviate. It is also a top third show for me.
Oh man.
As you might have noticed, I've watched a whole season of this show, and so I was very excited when we were going to watch this for the cast. I think the show does a lot of things really well. It's moving. It's a 42-minute show without commercials.
Not a lot of recapping.
There's not a ton. There's just
the show's
enough.
moving. Like
And
stuff's happening.
There's a lot of
yeah.
progression. Like the show, it's filmed over a weekend, so there's 2 full days of action happening. Usually lunch and dinner, both meals. They're shopping in the morning. I love the business aspects of it. I like more so than anything else. Like what I feel like about the show too that they do really well is like kind of makes you appreciate food trucks and the things they're going through and things they're doing. Like from scoping out parking spots to working the deals, to like just getting like ingredients and doing things in an efficient way. It's sort of like can almost even like oh yeah, that seems like something you could do, and then you kind of watch it and like, man, there's a lot going on with that food truck. I don't know, but like I'm glad that food truck's there.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things the show does really well. The host is pretty decent. The people on the
Tyler
show,
Florence.
the way they present it, you start it like the more you watch it, the more you get invested in the people on it, and you kind of like are interested to see like who's gonna actually come out on top. And I feel like especially towards the end, like you really see these people wanting it, especially after you've gone in like 5-6 weeks of this thing. So for that, yeah, it's definitely top of the top. Like definitely would watch it again and recommend watching it.
Totally. You get very invested in a competition like that, working as hard as those people do.
Right.
Like
Well, the gourmet grads weren't working that hard, but everyone
gourmet
else
grads.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
I think the other aspect of it that I like too is that it is a traveling show. So like each week there's a new destination, there's a new city.
It could
there's
be
new-
in
there's
your
new
city.
twist. It could be in your city. There's several of these that go all around the country, so it's kind of fun to see too.
Yeah. Definitely cool. Yeah.
All right, anybody else have anything else to say on this show?
It's the Great Food Truck Race.
Great food truck race.
Yeah.
Our Chris and Max going to be mad we watched such a good show without them?
Man, that's a great question.
Good question.
I hope they watch it. Is the big thing. We gotta get them to watch it, right?
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, what would Chris hate on this show? Because there would have to be something.
Yeah.
Because that's just Chris's style. But I don't know.
The
Like, I think
obvious
this is a
things
tough
aren't
one.
there. The obvious things aren't
Right, like they don't do extensive recaps. They don't have a bunch of unnecessary drama. Like the drama there, you feel like it is legit drama when they're arguing. It's not like some dumb thing that you don't care about.
there. They
Jam-
don't take away their cell phones.
Yeah.
They don't take. Yeah, you're right. They don't do that.
Don't make him dress in 90s clothes. It's like, that's pretty good.
What if someone's food truck theme was 90s food trucks? And they're
90s
all
truck.
dressed like Will Smith from Fresh
No,
Prince.
90s truck is a great idea for a new show.
Oh no! It's just a bunch of '90s food trucks. That's not even what?
You sell Gushers and just food from the 90s.
So it's
Zima,
like an ice cream truck?
Crystal
Like, I'm
Pepsi.
confused.
Crystal Pepsi,
Yeah,
load it up.
I don't know. And then Max would probably hate that it's like too mainstream of a show. It's not different enough. That kind of stuff.
It's in
but
English.
I think he would enjoy the show. It's in English. Yeah, there's no subtitles.
There's no podcast within the show.
Oh yeah,
Love you guys.
yeah, no, like there's no of those like critiques really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that yeah.
So speaking of great reality shows, Harrison, what happened last night?
Oh man,
Oh, big time.
this is big time. Last night was the final of the challenge. James, have you seen the final yet?
I did. I watched it live.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I know I had to because I knew what was coming up
News
today,
coming up on the cast.
and I just wanted to see what the hell was going to happen in that show.
Here's the thing about the final on the challenge. It is very different from the whole rest of the show.
It certainly
It's
is.
very, very different from the whole rest of the show. And it's completely just focused on like this physical challenge that they have to do, some kind of multi-stage physical challenge that's timed.
I feel like this part of it is the fifth major sport part.
This, yeah,
Or is like
kind
the whole
of.
thing the fifth major
The whole
sport?
thing is the fifth major sport.
So the politicking and all of that.
The game that is the challenge is the sport.
Okay.
But this is certainly the most like, physical aspect of it.
Right. And it's down
And-
to 3 guys and 3 girls.
Down to 3 guys and 3 girls.
who are not just on a permanent team.
right.
That was the thing I found really
Yeah,
interesting.
so basically it was kind of fluid. So like at different parts they would pair up with another person. In some parts it was individual, and it was always timed basically.
Right. And individually timed, if I
Exactly.
understand. Right.
Well, yeah.
So like when they were doing certain legs of the race, there would be like, I noticed these banners that would say, okay, Jordan's time started, Jordan's time is stopped.
Right, for sure.
Things like that.
When they're competing as pairs though, the time for the pair both individuals just got.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do you want to start? Like, do you want to break the whole thing down or just get some of the highlights?
I'm not sure if we need to break the whole thing down necessarily.
I do love
there
one
are-
dick over part that happened.
There
in
are a
this.
few things about it that I'd like to mention. The first is TJ Lavin isn't even present for the final.
What in
somehow
what in the
Victor
shit is
Cruz?
going on?
they go.
No.
So
There's just no host.
They go from cart.
It's like our pod today.
yeah.
Yeah, but no. Because the difference there would be like I'd pull out my phone and would have like an audio clip of TCL with like a recorded message.
Oh, that would have been good.
And like we
Maybe
don't even
should've
have
done
that for this.
So-
thanks, Chris. But burn.
So they
but
travel
yeah.
from Cartagena, Colombia, to some other destination in South America, and when they get there, TJ's not there, and they just have this cell phone, and TJ's just giving them like video messages about what to do in this final challenge.
Maybe. I think that's fucking bullshit. I think they're just holding up a phone because they never once show the screen on the phone.
Sure, I mean it's
I think it's all
possible.
post.
It's possible.
Like
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
TJ in those videos was wearing the same clothes that he was wearing in Cartagena, so I assume they just shot these videos. I don't know. Who knows?
Man.
Anyway.
Anyways,
so
TJ's not there.
TJ's not there, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So like I really want to know the reason behind it. Like I wonder if he had like visa troubles or if he had some other scheduling conflict that happened, because there's just no real reason for him not to be there, and his absence is noted.
Oh, I think I have an
Like-
idea though. What if he's working on the next season that starts in like a couple of weeks
Dude,
which
TJ's
is the
TJ's not the host of that season.
He's not.
No, it's not Victor Cruz.
Thank God.
But it is
Luda. Tell me it's Luda.
It is The Miz
Damn it.
from WWE.
Luda would do it amazing.
Luda, what do you get Luda off Fear Factor, as we previously said, which is terrible, and put him on this one?
Yeah.
What if they got the Tej from Are You the One?
Oh yeah, that'd
So
be
it's still
pretty good.
Tej.
Terrence.
Ooh, I have another suggestion.
Yeah.
Tyrese Gibson,
Oh.
who's about to not be in the Fast movies anymore,
I think
so
he's
his
available.
schedule is freeing up. Which I'm bummed about him not being. And I don't know if that's official, but do you know about this whole feud with him and The Rock?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't really. Rob, do you want to give our listeners a quick like elevator pitch on it?
Yeah, so the elevator pitch is The Rock and Jason Statham are making a spin-off Fast movie centered on The Rock's character Hobbs and I guess also Jason Statham's Fast character.
Hopefully
and that's
the baby's
gonna
in that.
delay the release of the official Fast 9
Yeah.
because they got to film this one first. And Tyrese went off on The Rock that he's not all about the family as Fast is supposed to be. And has been trying to do this whole beef with The Rock. And The Rock's not really responding, although when The Rock announced the spin-off movie, he did say candy asses need not apply, which
Great
we all
hashtag.
think was directed at Tyrese.
Ooh,
So
is he now a candy ass?
I believe he is.
Oh
He's
shit!
officially a candy ass.
Damn, you don't want to be officially labeled a candy ass.
No.
It's not great.
It's
And-
tough.
And Tyrese like posted this old video of The Rock like trashing Tyrese's album or something, but it totally seemed like the kind of thing The Rock would do as a favor, like as a joke, to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like pretend to make fun of your album and we'll like put it on Instagram and like hype it up and stuff. So it's very strange by Tyrese.
For sure. For sure.
And it definitely seems like it's gonna end with the Fast Field being like Tyrese gonna be like, it's him or me, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna stick with The Rock.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with the movie star
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
who's killing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, bummer. So, but Tyrese though really should be on the. Is it the Champs versus Stars? Is the next one?
Champs versus Stars.
So there's no TJ guaranteed.
No TJ. It's hosted by it's hosted by The Miz. I don't know if TJ makes any kind of an appearance, but I would guess not, based on the Champs versus Pros thing.
I really can't believe TJ's not in this.
It didn't make
show.
any sense to me.
He's got to be in the reunion show though. Got to be.
TJ never does the reunion show.
He's not in that either.
TJ never does the reunion show because TJ doesn't want to get involved with the drama of the people. He doesn't want to have to interrogate all these people about the drama. He's gonna let someone else do that dirty work.
No, but he's the dirtiest player ever or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is the dirtiest player ever.
There's got to be something like something's got to happen. In this thing.
What it seems like to me is like some kind of crazy conflict or situation came up
Something
that
happened.
caused him not to be there. Because TJ is usually there for the finals. It isn't like it's a usual
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, it just seems I don't know. So it's super weird. So it's all TJ on this phone, and then
And
they
maybe
basically-
not even on this phone, maybe all in post.
maybe all in post exactly. And they basically just get to these locations and have to do a few challenges, and normally need to go into the details in all of them. There's one where they have to haul a bunch of rocks to somewhere. There's one that's a puzzle one.
Was there anything like the triangles from Invasion?
No one had as much of a trouble is much trouble with the puzzles.
Derek.
Okay, sorry. Derek did have a bad time with the puzzles.
This dude is fucking bad. Time is an understatement. He was useless.
So
He's like partnered up with like Camilla on one of them
and Kara on the other
and
one.
Carr on the other one, and they're both just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like you got to do literally anything." And he can't do shit.
Yeah,
he's
it's-
just standing like, I'm just trying not to get in your way.
There's basically some kind of it wasn't exactly Sudoku, but it was some Sudoku-like puzzle. And Derek looks at it and he just says, I'm not going to be any help. I'm horrible at this. And then Kara is just like, are you fucking kidding me? And has to do the whole puzzle herself.
Unbelievable.
And then same thing happened with him and Camilla. The time situation wasn't as bad on that puzzle, but
Yeah.
it was
just
so
insane. He's terrible at
he's
puzzles.
bad at puzzles.
But he's been really good at the physical aspects of this.
yeah.
But
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got Jordan, CT, Derek on the guy's side, and then we've got Tori, Camilla, Cara Maria on the girls' side.
Pretty strong lineup
Very
overall.
strong lineup
Really
overall.
pretty strong.
Well,
Well, aside from Camilla, who had a meltdown on the climbing challenge.
yeah, Camilla seemed to have some kind of a height situation happen on this climbing challenge that
Yeah.
they basically had to like scale up this big rock wall kind of thing, and she basically froze in the middle of it and just started freaking out and crying and stuff, which is interesting. Well, I definitely think that she has a heights thing, because there's been some previous seasons where, like, I remember specifically there was this one, like, trivia challenge where, like, usually they do these trivia challenges, they, like, suspend you super high up over something and they drop you if you miss the question, and she was freaking out like this, kind of losing her mind on that. So I think she has a heights thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Did she go on any more racist tirades?
No
or
more racist tirades somehow. Somehow she restrained herself.
That's a good sign.
It's gonna be interesting to
That
see how
reunion
goes.
show.
That's gonna be-
It's definitely gonna come up again.
Oh, of course it's gonna come. They're gonna play the clip.
Is Tony's
Yeah.
girlfriend to be at the reunion show?
Oh my god, that would be.
She's got to be at least in the crowd, right?
I
Who
don't
knows?
know. I can't imagine they're still together.
Is this gonna be some kind of Jerry Springer shit here in a second?
Oh, it's definitely going to be that. So the run of the final, I guess most notable thing is, for the very end of it, like they go out to like some salt flat, and they all kind of basically get on some kind of fiberglass clear, like kind of like sheet or something, like piece of glass or fiberglass or something, and they're laying on it, basically holding onto this handle like it's like a wakeboard kind of
sled,
handle,
wakeboard
like a
kinda
wakeboard
thing.
kind of handle, laying in their stomach, and it's all 6 of them getting dragged across this salt flat on their stomach behind, I can't remember what kind of vehicle it was, some kind of truck or
big
something.
Truck or some kind of big truck or car. I mean, it looked like it was going pretty
They were
quick
hauling
fast.
ass. They were hauling ass, and they're basically like, as long as you stay on, then you're good. But if you let go, then you have to run the rest of the way. So that's like you have to hold on to this whole thing. Like they're going and like they're hauling this thing, and then at some point there's like flamethrowers like shooting at them, like trying to get them to let go of the thing.
The flamethrowers looked a bit dangerous.
Oh, they were definitely going through the flames.
Also, wasn't obvious when you like chose your sled, but it seemed a lot like once you knew what was happening.
If you're on
to be
the
in
outside,
middle.
if you're on the outside, it's
Dude,
bad.
On the outside, the flamethrowers are basically on both the outside, just shooting right at you. And so, like, the people on the outside, it was like right next to their faces, just giant fucking flames coming over.
Yeah.
Very scary and intimidating.
So no one let go.
Yeah, everyone made it to the
But
end.
then, yeah,
I was very surprised by
everyone
that,
made it to
actually.
the end. Everyone finished the race, and then we get to the last video message from TJ, and TJ says, "We're not going to tell you who the winner is right now. You have to wait until the reunion show." So they're getting us all to watch again next week for the reunion
Those
show
sons of bitches.
to see who won the final.
Even CT was like, all right, well, I guess are we walking back, guys, or are we getting out of here? Just
Yeah.
like, there's like, all right, good challenge, I guess. Kind of shook hands and like went off into the distance.
It's kind of interesting because as I was watching the final, I was trying to pay attention to how people were acting in their interviews to try and figure out who won it before it was over. And I was like, oh, like I feel like Jordan probably won it. He's acting like pretty cocky in these interviews, and it turns out that none of them knew it anyway. So
Yeah.
you know.
So is there anything particularly dirty about the last episode?
there were a couple of dirty moves.
We have to
So-
talk about my favorite dirty move.
Yeah. So there were basically I'm not sure if they called it a double cross. There was like a couple opportunities like to double cross someone.
There
kinda
was an
thing.
actual double cross.
Oh yeah, there also was a double cross.
with the blocks that you had to
Oh,
pull.
yeah?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that
they
happened.
had a double cross in the middle. So
which was my favorite dirty
yeah,
one.
you
We'll
want
come back
to
to that.
explain that one?
Okay, sure. So it's like I don't remember how many days this thing was, but it's like basically
Couple
the end of
days.
one of the days.
It's
like,
a multi-day.
It's a multi-day thing. So we're like, okay, welcome to the double cross, and this is going to be some kind of dirty move. And so 3 guys, 3 girls are like, okay, 2 guys and 2 girls are going to get to sleep in this awesome tent. Got nice warm blankets. It's going to be great. The other 2, you're out sleeping on the rocks and the floor with nothing, and like in a cold desert night. And you're like, uh-oh. And so they're like, okay. So like the guys go. I'm trying to remember who pulled the double cross. Did CT? Get
No,
Jordan.
Jordan pulled it.
Jordan pulls
Yeah.
the double cross and says, "Fuck you, Derek. You're sleeping on the floor." So he's like, "All right, well, I guess that's happening." And then
Tori pulled
Tori?
it for the girls.
Tori
and,
pulls
and
it
put
and
Camilla
sends
on the floor.
Camilla to the floor, and Camilla is pissed.
Not happy.
It's like, I can't believe you. He's like, sorry, bitch.
Yeah.
And so now they're all like in the tent, just like, oh, it's so warm. This is the softest blanket I've ever had.
They have like nice mattresses and stuff in there. And,
Yeah. And like the people on the outside are just like in their jacket and pants and like a fire, and that's it.
Sleeping
And it's
on the
just
ground.
Rocks.
Ooh.
And they're just trying to sleep, and they're like clearly not having a good time. and they're exhausted, and Camilla's just getting pissed. She's like, "Oh, this mother," and it was like, it's part of the show. Like, you got to just go with it. But it was great.
There's definitely like the sleep deprivation thing is like a thing in a bunch of these finals too. Like there will often be some kind of challenge aspect with like the overnight part of it. So like they've had it before where it's just like, okay, like you have to stand on this log for the entire night. I'll see you in the morning. And then TJ just leaves, and then like comes back in the morning. Or
really, that's insane.
Yeah, or it'll be like they had this one where it was like they were teamed up in pairs, and like the team that had they always had to have one person like standing on this pedestal from the team. So it was kind of up to you to figure out how you want to rotate sleeping between you and the other person for standing on this thing. So there's always some kind of little sleep deprivation kind of thing too.
It's interesting.
But what wasn't a huge factor in this one, which usually is some kind of eating challenge. So they did have a little bit of eating at the very beginning. So they had this thing where they had these kind of they kind of look like they kind of look like those Polish horseshoe things that were like the golf balls that are tied to the strings, and they kind of had to like toss them pretty far and like get it hooked around this thing.
It looked reasonably hard. Like, it looked like the kind of thing, like, you could take a few throws, get used to it.
It looked pretty hard.
And what did they have to drink?
Yeah, it was some kind of gross milk that had been, like, sitting in the sun all day or something. It was, like for every time you threw it, you had to do, like, a shot of this milk. So, like, you could have seen how that one could have gone really bad, but most of the teams got it pretty quick, and it didn't really get bad. But usually, at the beginning of these challenges, or, like, maybe like after the first leg, they have to eat something horrible and insane, and then their stomachs are just killing them for the whole rest of the time.
Right.
That wasn't really as much of a factor.
And they're having to, like, run everywhere, and, like, you're having to perform.
For sure.
Last thing you want is just some insane thing in your stomach.
Yeah, like...
Everyone's definitely, like, yakking and...
Yeah, people throw up a lot. So
who do you think won it?
I think Jordan won it for the guys.
I don't think so.
Jordan had a big-time performance.
I think Derek, like, looked really good, but, like, I think some of the penalties and some of the other stuff and, like, the puzzle stuff just killed him.
Yeah.
But, like, in the physical stuff, he looked strong. But
so Jordan's the guy with one hand, right?
Yeah.
So that's real impressive.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's and like even in that thing where like they had to hold on to like the wakeboard thing, and like it would have been really advantageous to have two hands, like he held on no problem, and
yeah, he did well.
Yeah, so it's pretty impressive for sure. And then on the girls' side, it was definitely less clear who was winning on that side.
I gotta think Camilla was hurting. At least the way it was shot, like with that, her freezing up on a couple of those things.
Camilla wasted a bunch of time. So Camilla wasted a bunch of time. Cara got dragged down by that Derek puzzle situation. So I think that Tori might kind of end up winning because of both of those things.
Yeah.
Like, Tori was making up a bunch of time too.
I was trying to remember back to like the opening challenge on like the first thing when they like flew in off the planes. And I was trying to remember like who kind of won that leg of it.
Yeah, so that was Jordan plus I can't remember
Tori
who his partner was, because no, it wasn't Tori, I don't think, but Jordan plus somebody, because they found like some more efficient path of like getting the rocks to their thing than the other people did, so they kind of did better, I guess.
Got it.
But yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so
I guess next week
final, and like it's very different episode than like a normal challenge episode. It's not really as like any drama or politicking or politicking or any of that kind of stuff. It's just
it seemed like it was just all about the actual challenge of the thing.
For sure.
So anyway, you said TJ doesn't usually show up at the reunion. I wonder if he'll show up just to announce the winner.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
But they'll have some other hosts to do the actual reunion stuff.
Yeah, TJ's got to be there to at least award the prize money. Like he has to. They're not gonna let the Miz do that. That seems crazy.
Do you think it's actually over, or there's gonna have to be some sort of dirty move to finish this thing out?
Well,
it's like, oh, you won, but like, you know, maybe there's gonna be like that you could take all the money thing or like something, or you think it's like it's over, like like boom boom boom.
I don't think that they're gonna have something dirty, but I'm surprised that they're not going to, because I mean they've certainly had dirty stuff at the end of those seasons before. Like they had the one infamous one where Bananas takes all the money away from that other girl.
Right.
So like they've done it before. They do show in the little preview for the reunion show that they kind of that they're going to do like a double cross kind of thing to reveal who the winner is, I think. So I don't know what the actual what's actually going to happen with that, but we'll see.
And then do we know for the Champs versus Stars the cast, or is it sort of still dependent on like what happens here?
No, I think we know the cast.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about the cast the week we did Dancing with the Stars.
The only
'Cause
person
T.O. was on there.
The only person who it would be, well, the only person who'd be a question for is Tori, because she hasn't won before. So Tori's in the cast, and that's a little bit of a giveaway,
Oh, I see.
I guess. But I'm not sure, because they didn't know the winner of the season. The winner of the season, the winner of the season wasn't announced before they started
Right.
shooting.
I
That
think
other.
something I just said like Corey was in Champs versus Stars, and he's not a champ.
Oh, so maybe it's a little bit loose.
It's I think it's loose.
Okay, a little bit loose.
He's like champ of drama.
Paula Dickin.
But like
Then they should have just called it like Vets versus Stars or something like that.
right.
And then they have to be a champ.
That Champs versus branding though is just
Oh,
so
yeah,
strong.
so strong.
That Victor Cruz branding.
Oh man.
Yep. So we're gonna find out next week at that reunion what happens. One other thing that I did want to bring up is that after our viewing last night, we did discover that TJ Lavin has his own YouTube channel and YouTube series called Hanging with Lavs.
Ooh.
And it is basically like an interview series where he just props his iPhone up like on a table and just talks to like one of his buds basically. And like somehow like most of these videos only have like 200 or 300 views on them, but it's
I don't know about that one.
variable quality on the videos, I would say. So some were kind of funny.
So, is there any more on the challenge?
No, I think
'Cause there's one commercial that I
there's-
wanted to bring up.
You posted something on the Facebook group about the
Oh,
challenge.
I
we should
did.
Probably
Did.
quickly reference.
I did, yeah.
Let's do
There
that.
is a which challenge finalist are you quiz that I think MTV made that is on our Facebook and Twitter. If you want to take it,
And
Have
which
you
one
guys
are you,
both done
Harrison?
this?
I have.
I have not. Shit, I need to do this.
I turned out to be a CT, which I don't really know. This was a little bit of a dubious quiz, I think. The questions.
Well, it's also only like which of you are out of CT Jordan.
Which
Derek.
finalist are you?
Right.
Well, I could have
I
got.
guess you
I think I
could've
could have
gotten,
gotten one of
like,
the
Tori or
girls too.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what their judgments are.
But it definitely didn't ask me if I was a guy or a girl or not. So, but yeah, I got CT. And it didn't really explain why. It's
Or
just
like-
like you're CT. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. Rob, who'd you
We
get?
were able to tell from they ask you like 4 things. You're like, oh, this one's a reference to this.
You
this
know,
one's a
like
reference to
that is the way you would make that quiz, like in a good way, where it was referencing things from the challenge, but it was mostly just like it seemed like information that must have been about these people that I just didn't know. It's like what's your favorite state? Like it's just like things like that are like information probably about those people that just weren't really a part of the show though.
Got it.
It wasn't like, do you like peanut butter or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Rob, what were you?
So it turns out I'm a racist.
Oh, you're a
Oh,
Camilla.
boy.
No.
Camillinator Rob.
Oh boy, man.
Rough.
Damn, who'da thought that?
You know, those personality profiles don't lie. It's just,
I know. Writing's on the wall now.
Oh man. So I was curious watching the last episode. There was a lot of commercials for this new show,
Oh no.
oh my god.
and so I can't even. I've seen multiple of commercials, and I still don't know what the hell the show's about. But the name of the show, and I think you guys know where I'm going, is Florabama.
Oh.
Florabama
yes.
Coast.
So what in the hell is this? Like the Jersey Shore meets like the Panhandle and Bama? Is
Yeah,
that like what
I
this
think it's
is?
just people living on the Florida-Alabama line on the Gulf right there.
Huh.
And
And it's a reality show. Like it's an MTV reality
It's like
show.
Jersey
it's
Shore.
Jersey Shore.
It's like Siesta Key was bringing back that
The
other
hills,
show.
yeah.
Shit.
What
I
was the
think
one
we have to
before the
watch
hills?
this thing,
Laguna
right?
Beach.
Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to bring back Jersey Shore, but it's all Florida themed now, so it's
It's like
Florabama
Siesta
Coast.
Key didn't pan out, or what happened?
Siesta
No,
Key's coming back.
Siesta Key is a different kind of show than this. Siesta Key is like Laguna Beach. This is like
Oh, right.
This is
That's
like
actual script.
This is like Jersey Shore. Yeah.
Supposedly, yeah.
Well, it's also in the style of the show too.
Is 1-800 Ask Gary involved with this new show?
Only an advisory capacity. No money in this one.
Man. It looked like I couldn't even understand what's going on because it all just looked insane the whole time. It was just like insane parties, insane drunk people doing insane redneck things.
Yeah.
James, are we doing another MTV show, James?
I think we have to.
Oh.
Here's the thing: is like a lot of these MTV shows are ending up in these top buckets overall.
like
in our
90s
ratings.
House?
That one did not.
90s House was a bit of a misstep, I would say.
Does 90s House? Here's a question: does it? And we don't have a full quorum here to really decide. But does MTV need to go in a penalty box for a hot second here
It might for a little
with
bit.
90s
man.
House? Because that one, like, there's at least got to be a warning. That was some shit.
I think we got to stop doing an MTV show every 3 weeks.
oh
we-
yeah, that's for sure.
We did have that Siesta Key 90s House 1-2 punch.
Oh
But
man,
we had Are You the One in the middle?
That's true. Are you the ones?
dude, yeah.
Are you the ones in my top third now?
Oh man,
That show's pretty good.
that's what I'm
I've been
saying. Is
watching it.
like, there's a lot of shit they have.
Yeah.
But then
Don't-
there's also like a couple of these.
Don't forget, we also
bangers.
had Fear Factor in there, too.
Fear Factor. Did we do Teen Mom yet? Like,
Not yet.
Oh man.
Teen Mom 2.
What about Teen Mum?
Oh man, there's so many
can't-
of these.
I can't like. So I had not been following the Teen Mom phenomenon very close, and I've recently learned like that Teen Mom 2 is just they have like Teen Mom 2 season 9.
It's
and
not the
just,
second season.
No, it's not the
a
second
whole different
season.
show.
Yeah, it's just the second time they did it, but the 9th season of that.
Well, no,
Same
it's
people.
like my understanding of Teen Mom 2 is it's the like, you know, months or years later
Yeah, yeah.
after being pregnant. So like Teen Mom 1 is all about like they're finding out they're pregnant, they're having the baby. Teen
No,
Mom
no,
2
no.
is
No,
like
no.
They're like the
No,
child's
no,
6
no.
months old.
It is.
That's not the case.
It's different. That it's different sets of people. So Teen Mom 1 has a set of whatever like 5 or 6 teen moms, and then season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 follows that set of teen moms for all the seasons. Teen Mom 2 is a totally different set of moms, and it follows those people up through the years.
So is it like a Teen Mom 3?
it's like the Boyhood of reality shows.
This is oh my God. This is too much. It's too much.
Well, add it to the queue.
It's crazy. Well, yeah, and then we got $1 Million RV is our follow up to the last one. We
Tiny
did.
House, Tiny House Hunters.
Tiny House Hunters. I feel like, and I forgot to bring this up last week, but Tiny House Hunters reminds me of Ice Lake Rebels.
I was gonna say that too,
And I totally forgot about
and
it.
especially when the
Commodes.
the girl had like her best friend there like looking at it, because there was that one girl who was going to do the ice lake thing like with her best friend as like an adventure that totally reminded me of that.
Yep.
Totally,
So that one slipped off my my radar.
Yeah.
But
Ice Lake
it really
Rebels.
reminded me of it.
man.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything else that they're watching hot now? Anything else to bring up?
My wife's been out of town. I'm buying everything, so I've not been watching Are You the One? I've not been watching Stranger Things.
What?
So got a lot
Man.
of shows to watch when she's back this weekend.
Oh, okay. So next week we'll have a great update.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll just be watching Stranger Things. We'll
There you
see.
go. There you go. Harrison.
Stranger Things 2 is so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
How many episodes are you in?
Unlike Teen Mom 2, Stranger Things 2 is the same group of kids as the first one, and it's good. I liked it a lot. Yeah,
Are you done?
I'm done. Yeah, I
Oh.
finished it up. Yeah. Very enjoyable season.
Endorsement.
Yeah, I liked it.
All right.
All right. I don't really have anything else specific. So if
Okay.
no one's got anything, I think I'll take a stab at this. But
Go
you know,
for it.
we're who put this on at facebook.com. Email
That
us
that was
at
pretty close.
who put this on at gmail.com.
that one's right.
That one's right.
Twitter at who put this on.
Twitter.com/who put this on. Facebook.com/who put this on.
And iTunes, where we could use some ratings and some love and support from you guys. That would be great. Any suggestions? Email us, write us, ping us, fax us, call us.
Fax
you
us
know,
might be tough.
Just whatever. We'll make it happen. And we'll see you next time.
America hasn't seen the last of Who Put This On.